right to Hollywood. That's gooey, bally-hooly Hollywood, where any office boy or young...
Good morning, Hollywood! I'm Sarah Zarrell, the board chair of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce Hollywood Walk of Fame Star Ceremony for Jude Law! The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce has proudly hosted the globally iconic Walk of Fame for millions of people around the world. And it is my pleasure to introduce you to our president and CEO, Steve Nissen, who will be our MC for the day. Steve?
Thank you, Sarah. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hollywood. First, let's give a big shout out to our fans watching around the world on our live stream presented by our media partner, Variety. Yeah. And thank you to our immediate neighbors here on the street. They've really helped us out to make this a possibility this morning. And that includes the El Capitan Theater and Jimmy Kimmel Live. Thank you, neighbors. Okay, the Hollywood Walk of Fame recognizes achievement in the categories of motion pictures, radio, live theater, live performance, sports entertainment, recording, and television. Today, in the category of motion pictures, we honor Jude Law with star number 2,797 on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, before we invite Jude to the stage, let me tell you a little bit about our honoree. Oh, that's already a misstatement because he's done so much. You're going to hear a lot of bit about our honoree. He's an actor, but he's not just any actor. He is a BAFTA-winning actor. He's been an Oscar, Tony, and Olivier Award-nominated actor. Jude Law has worked alongside the most accomplished directors, writers, and talent of our time. In a career spanning 3 decades of distinguished performances, Jude brings a passion and curiosity to his craft both on stage and on screen, whether they're independent, smaller films or larger tentpole productions. And additionally, with Riff Raff Entertainment, Jude has established himself as a producer of note, developing material from the ground up, stemming from a desire to entertain, challenge, and inform through inspired and fresh storytelling. Most recently, Jude has starred in Justin Kurzel's The Order, produced by Riff Raff. The Order premiered in August at the 81st Venice International Film Festival to critical acclaim, and it was just released in the United States a couple days ago on December 6th. Jude also stars in the Disney Plus series Star Wars Skeleton Crew from filmmakers John Watts and Chris Ford. Earlier this year, he portrayed Henry VIII in the roadside attractions historic thriller Firebrand. He also appears in Ron Howard's thriller Eden alongside an ensemble cast which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. And he recently wrapped production on the Netflix series Black Rabbit, also executive produced by Riff Raff, in which he stars opposite Jason Bateman. But wait, there's more. Jude has earned acclaim for his performances in various projects, including a Gotham Award nomination for Best Actor in The Nest, and rave reviews for HBO's innovative series The Third Day. Now, this groundbreaking drama featured an immersive live-stream production demonstrating Law's commitment to blending theater and film. I also think it demonstrates Jude's courage to try something new and step out of the norm and take risks. His other films include Cold Mountain, The Aviator, Hugo, Contagion, Side Effects, AI, Artificial Intelligence, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Holiday, Gattaca, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, Closer, Captain Marvel. What was that other movie? Oh yes, The Talented Mr. Ripley. That earned Jude a BAFTA award and an Oscar nomination. Now this is a very versatile man, as if those other credits didn't demonstrate her versatility. Jude also portrayed Professor Albus Dumbledore, as in Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Did I get all the names right? In J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and its sequels. Also, further demonstrating his versatility, he portrayed not a professor, but a doctor, Dr. Watson, in the Sherlock Holmes series, alongside Robert Downey Jr. By the way, those two films, the two Sherlock Holmes films, they did okay. They each earned over $500 million each. Now, Jude is getting the award today for his career in films, but he's also had a spectacular career in television and in live theater. In television, Jude gained recognition for his role as Archbishop Lenny Belardo, who became the first American Pope, in Paolo Sorrentino's The Young Pope, earning a Golden Globe nomination and an award at the Venice Film Festival. And then he reprised his role in The New Pope, which he also executive produced. In the world of theater, Jude is celebrated for his performances, receiving multiple accolades, including the Critics Circle Theater Award and a Tony Award nomination for Hamlet. His other stage credits include Obsession, Henry V, and Anna Christie. Now that's what he's done in his acting career. In real life, Jude is very committed to making the world a better place. His charities include Only Make Believe, which creates interactive theater with children in hospitals, special education schools, and care facilities. He also supports Peace One Day, whose objective is to institutionalize Peace Day on September 21, making it a day that is self-sustaining and an annual day of global unity on an unprecedented scale. That's a pretty tall order, but this man is not afraid to take on big roles and to take on big challenges. So it's now time to bring Jude Law up to the stage. Please help me welcome our newest Walk of Famer, Jude Law. All right. Jude will speak, but as I told him, this is the hardest part for any honoree. He just has to stand there. Just take direction, that's all. Our first speaker today has worked successfully across indie films and franchises as both writer and director. He's currently in post-production on A24's epic pop melodrama, Mother Mary, starring Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole. His other notable works include Green Knight, A Ghost Story, Pete's Dragon, Pioneer, St. Nick's, Ain't Them Bodies Saints, and The Old Man and the Gun, and most recently, Peter Pan and Wendy, starring this man as Captain Hook. So please welcome to the stage, David Lowery.
Also, how interesting is it that I get to talk about you? And I'm just going to pretend you're not here. That's what I'm going to do. So, it's so weird. I just want to say all this to you because I mean it. Jude and I are at that age where we're basically the same age. But once upon a time, I was a very young man getting his driver's license. And the very first movie, once I had my driver's license and was legally able to drive, the very first movie I ever drove myself to see was a movie called Wild, starring Stephen Fry as Oscar Wilde, and this very striking actor who I'd never seen before. A few months later, there he was again in this incredible science fiction film called Gattaca, and then a month after that, in Midnight in the Garden of Good. I make really hard titles in my movies. That's a hard one. That's a tongue twister. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And I thought to myself, someday, somehow, I am going to work with this actor in not one but two projects in which he will play a pirate who gets up to shenanigans with a bunch of runaway children, whether it's in Neverland or in a galaxy far, far away. But, okay, so I wasn't actually thinking that far ahead. But when the time came to collaborate with Jude, I looked back at my own history of watching him on the big screen and realized how wonderful and rare it is to see an actor and an artist chart their own path before our eyes. I've often been asked, what's it like to work with Jude Law? And the answer is right there in his body of work. You can look at the films he's made and see the curiosity and conviction and care that he brings to each part writ large across his career as a whole. Whether it's Existenz, The Talented Mr. Ripley, Cold Mountain, Sky Captain, The Holiday, Grand Budapest Hotel, or The Nest. And if anyone has not seen The Nest, we should just pause this ceremony right now. Everyone go home and watch it, and I'll wait. We'll wait here. The Nest is incredible. So, yes, go see it. But the fact that Jude learned to sword fight with his left hand when he played Captain Hook for me is indicative of how up for a challenge he is. He never does the same thing twice. He never goes for the easy choice or the safe bets. He approaches his work with humility and kindness, and he commits to a degree that would be daunting if it weren't so inspiring. And on top of all of that, yes, that was the next thing. That was the next thing I was going to say. How did he get a copy of my speech? I don't have anything. I'm done. The fact that Jude learned to sword fight with his left hand when he played Captain Hook for me is indicative of how up for a challenge he is. He commits to a degree that would be daunting if it weren't so inspiring, and he keeps getting better and better and better. Early on, I told Jude that I generally like to do 7 takes, which in any normal circumstance is plenty. But with Jude, it was very hard to stop because I knew that if I would just do one more, he would just find some new bit of nuance, illuminate some new layer that I could never have dreamed of, and I was just always so entertained. I learned more about my own projects, watching my own movies, watching Jude perform these words that we had written on the page. So Jude, I apologize for all those times we went past take 7, but you brought this on yourself. We had so much fun. It was nothing but fun. I have so many stories that I could tell from set, but one of the things that's resonated with me the most is Jude's generosity. As I mentioned, we've done 2 projects that involve large casts of children, and sometimes in between takes, I'd be changing a lens or moving the camera, and I'd see him with the kids playing games, rehearsing the scene, and gently helping them find their way. Witnessing those moments was a gift to them, certainly, for they were all better actors and will be better people for it, but it's to me too, because it was a reminder of how, if we're lucky enough to spend our lives making movies, then the measure of a life well lived is the people we make those movies with. And if I got to work with Jude on every movie I make, that would be a life well lived indeed, but since I can't, I'm grateful that he likes to work as much as he does, because if I'm not working with him, I can rest easy knowing that I'll get to keep watching him. So, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Of course. And now I will leave you to stand here.
Okay, before we introduce our next speaker, we have a few special guests in the audience today. So first, please welcome screenwriter Zach Balin, screenwriter of The Order. Now here's a question, because we don't know if he checked in. So is Justin Kurzel here? Justin Kurzel is in the house, filmmaker and director of The Order. Welcome, and thank you for coming. This is a bit of an international celebration as well. So we have some public officials, both locally, the state assembly member who represents this area, Hollywood, and the Walk of Fame, Rick Chavez-Zabur. And from almost halfway around the world, but she actually lives here for now, the Consul General of Belgium, Sophie Otat. And then finally, the British Consul General, who was kind enough to really host a tea earlier this morning for Jude and his family and others, British Consul General Paul Rennie. Thank you. Our next speaker is an award-winning actress and activist of rare talent and conviction. She can be seen starring in the crime thriller, The Order, opposite Jude. Her other works include Eve's Bayou, Firebug, The Burial, Lou, Lovecraft Country, Spiderhead, Birds of Prey, The Great Debaters, Temptation, Hands of Stone, Gang, Beautiful Joe, one of my personal favorites, Friday Night Lights, and We Grown Now, which was nominated for Best Feature at this year's Independent Spirit Awards. That's a pretty incredible resume, given she's only 5 years old. No, she's 6. Please welcome Journey Smollett to the stage.
Wow, what an honor it is to be here today to pay tribute to this illustrious career of my dear friend, my brother, Jude Law. You know, honestly, this is really surreal for me because so many of Jude's performances have had quite an impact on my artistry. I don't think I've ever said that to you. So it's a real privilege to be asked to speak here today. You know, when I was younger, I remember having a big crush on Dickie Greenleaf from Talented Mr. Ripley. I have so many personal favorites of yours. I mean, Road to Perdition, The Holiday, Sherlock Holmes, The Nest is unbelievable. Fantastic beats. The list is too long. But I truly feel that Jude is one of the greatest actors of his generation. And I've always looked to his performances for inspiration. And yet he keeps outdoing himself. And you know, the saying is, you're never supposed to meet your heroes. So when I got the call to join the cast of The Order, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I knew signing on to a heist thriller in which the story is rooted in a dark side of American history would have its challenges. You see, the film's themes of domestic terrorism and the insidious group of hate demanded it be handled with the utmost care. If I'm being frank, I wondered if this brilliant, charismatic British movie star with this prolific career would be up for the task of tackling and confronting the painful existence of white supremacy in America. I wondered, would I be constantly dealing with a massive ego or microaggressions or a 10-person posse on set? Or would I be stuck with the task of explaining our deeply painful side of American history? Honestly, I didn't feel like being an on-set history teacher. And in Jude, I found the complete opposite. I found someone who's not only a generous scene partner, but I found an ally and I found a friend. I found someone who has zero tolerance for ego. He was so hungry to unearth the truth. He approached the story with humility and reverence and curiosity. And our conversations, they turned into these bull sessions that stretched into the night as we dissected the layers and exchanged research materials and bounced ideas off our brilliant filmmaker, Justin Kurzel. These conversations were invigorating and inspiring, and Jude's insight and commitment during those discussions added profound depth to the process. See, one of his greatest strengths is his ability to turn life's beautiful, twisted, dark, and haunting chaos into art. And there's an energy about him that's just contagious. It's exhilarating and intentional, and it's the kind of energy that propels everyone around him to dig deeper and strive for greatness. His dedication is palpable, and if you watch this work that he did in inhabiting this conflicted character of Terry Husk in The Order, you will agree with me that it's nothing short of extraordinary. You see, his boundless curiosity of character development. Jude would often ponder the question, what does this cost my character? And after a career spanning decades, his passion hasn't wavered, and his willing to be used as a vessel, giving up his own body, his mind, and his soul in order to illuminate the sacrifice of this broken man was something to behold, truly. You see, Jude, you have the courage to allow your heart to break on screen, and that's a rare quality. And doing so, it helps us, the audience, feel seen, and we feel less alone in watching your work. So thank you for that. There's a word thrown around in this town quite often. It's a word, integrity. But truthfully, I think we all could agree that it's rare to find people with real integrity in this town. You know, so many folks are willing to sell their integrity to the highest bidder, but not Jude. You know, he could have easily taken the safer route in his career. He could have easily built a career solely on his looks, one filled with safe choices and minimal risk, but not Jude. He continuously pushes himself outside of his comfort zone, working with an array of talented filmmakers, jumping from big franchises to small festival indies, telling stories that challenge the status quo. Now, when speaking of the integrity of an artist, the great thinker James Baldwin once said that it is impersonal. This force you didn't ask for, this destiny which you must accept, it is also your responsibility. And if you survive it, if you don't cheat, if you don't lie, it is not only your glory, your achievement, it is almost our only hope. Because only an artist can tell, and only artists have told, since we have heard of man, woman, or human, what it is like for anyone who gets to this planet to be able to survive it. So Jude, I thank you, my brother, my friend. I thank you for creating an environment in which we all felt safe. I thank you for creating an environment that felt fair and equitable for us to play in. And witnessing your dedication to the craft has been an experience of the lifetime for me. Being in your orbit has made me a better artist, I dare say a better person. And I look forward with anticipation to our next adventure, my dear brother, whatever form it takes. So congratulations on your much-deserved star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Love you, man.
All right, so Jude's up there wondering, hey, when do I get to speak? When do I get to? So that moment is coming any second. I first need to tell you all that this Walk of Fame has been administered by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce since 1960. So we're finishing off our 64th year. 10 million people come to visit the Walk of Fame every year. You're surrounded by enormous talent and creativity with the other stars around you, but we now add to the pantheon one more, and that's you, Jude Law. It is our great honor to have you join this Walk of Fame. Now, this is kind of a sacred street, but it's also a real place. in a place called Hollywood, which is part of a city that we know is Los Angeles. The council member from the district that represents this area is Hugo Soto Martinez. He couldn't make it today, but he wanted us to give you a resolution from the city of LA, which we'll share right now for a photo op, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce to declare today Jude Law Day in Hollywood. Take it away, Mr. Law.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. First of all, thank you all for attending. Your presence makes this delightful honor a really special occasion, so I appreciate it. Thank you. I'd like to thank Steve and Sarah from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and Disney for supporting this event. And my dear friends David and Journey for your beautiful and kind words. Thank you. You can't act on your own, unlike playing an instrument or writing or painting. You can't act alone. It's a frustrating side of the job, but the need to collaborate is very much at the heart of the medium's biggest reward. And some of you here and many, many others that I've collaborated with over 30 years, people who I've learned from and been encouraged by, guided by, inspired by, they're the reason I have this star, and I want to thank them all. And the collaboration starts at home, and I've been very, very lucky to have had a family around me that have lived with and supported my passion for acting and filmmaking. And some of those members of my lovely family are here today, and they know what they mean to me. I love them so much. I had a mother who showed me the great silent movies and the comedies and musicals and dramas of the Hollywood Golden Era, American New Wave, foreign movies. And I had a dad who took me in the 70s and 80s to blockbuster movies where we ate our body weight in popcorn and chocolate. And so to have a place here amongst the talent that I grew up watching in all those films is both sublime and ridiculous. I want to thank everyone for coming, for making this such a special day for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So now it's time to perform the act that we all came for, to unveil the stars. So shall we go down? Sure. welcome the newest Walk of Famer to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Jude Law.